everyone, welcome back to Social Badi. Today we are going to learn one of the most important lessons in class 9 Social Studies, Democratic and Nationalist Revolutions of the 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. In this lesson, we will understand how the ideas of liberty, equality and democracy changed the world from the English Revolution to the American and French Revolutions. And later, the rise of nationalism and Europe, these movements shaped modern nations and inspired freedom struggles across the globe. Let's explore step by step how these revolutions transformed society and gave birth to the modern world. Background to revolutions. Before the 17th century, most of Europe was ruled by absolute monarchies. Kings had complete power. People had very few rights, no voice in government, and suffered under heavy taxes and unfair laws. New idea from philosophers and scientists during the Enlightenment questioned the old system. Concepts like freedom, equality, rights of citizens, and popular sovereignty, power of the people, began to spread. The English Revolution, 17th century. England was ruled by kings who believed in divine right of kings. God gave them power to rule. Conflict arose between King Charles I and Parliament over taxes and power. This led to a civil war between the king's supporters and Parliament's army, led by Oliver Cromwell. This one was executed 1649 and for a time England was a republic. Later monarchy was restored, but under William and Mary came the Glorious Revolution 1688. Parliament passed the Bill of Rights 1689. The king could not rule without Parliament. Citizens gained rights like freedom of speech and protection from unfair punishment. Result: constitutional monarchy was established. This was the first step towards democracy in Europe. The American Revolution, 18th century. 13 colonies versus Britain. Slogan: no taxation without representation. Declaration of Independence, 1776 by Thomas Jefferson. US Constitution 1787. Democracy, separation of powers, rights. Result: first modern democracy. French Revolution 1789. Society divided into three estates: clergy, nobility, commoners. Commoners faced poverty and taxes. National Assembly formed. Monarchy overthrown. Declaration of Rights of Man. Slogan: liberty, equality, fraternity. Result: monarchy ended, republic established. Nationalism in Europe, 19th century. Spread after French Revolution and Napoleon. Italy. Mazzini, Garibaldi, cover and fiction, 1861. Germany. Bismarck used wars and diplomacy and fiction. 1871. Greece independence from Ottoman rule. 1830. Impact of revolutions. Decline of absolute monarchies, rise of democracy and nation states, inspired freedom struggles worldwide, spread values, human rights, equality, nationalism. Background to revolutions. Before the 17th century, most of Europe was ruled by absolute monarchies. Kings had complete power. People had very few rights, no voice in government, and suffered under heavy taxes and unfair laws. New ideas from philosophers and scientists during the Enlightenment questioned the old system. Concepts like freedom, equality, rights of citizens, and popular sovereignty, power of the people began to spread. The English Revolution, 17th century. England was ruled by kings who believed in divine right of kings. God gave them power to rule. Conflict arose between King Charles I and Parliament over taxes and power. This led to civil war between the king's supporters and Parliament's army, led by Oliver Cromwell. Charles I was executed 1649 and for a time England was a republic. Later monarchy was restored, but under William and Mary came the Glorious Revolution 1688. The king could not rule without parliament. Citizens gained rights like freedom of speech and protection from unfair punishment. Result: constitutional monarchy was established. This was the first step towards democracy in Europe. The American Revolution, 18th century. Britain had 13 colonies in North America. Colonists were unhappy because they were forced to pay high taxes to Britain but had no representation in Parliament. No taxation without representation. Inspired by Enlightenment ideas, Locke, Montesquieu, Rousseau, the colonies united. In 1776, they declared independence with the American Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson. After a long war, Britain was defeated and the United States of America was born. In 1787, the US Constitution was adopted. Separation of powers: legislative, executive, judiciary. A democratic republic with elected leaders. Fundamental rights for citizens. Result: America became the first modern democracy. The French Revolution, 1789. France was divided into three estates. Clergy, church officials had privileges. Nobility, landowners, aristocrats had wealth and power. Common people, peasants, workers, middle class, paid all taxes and suffered poverty. Bad harvests, high taxes, and inequality caused anger. In 1789, the Third Estate formed the National Assembly and demanded a new constitution. The revolution spread with the slogan Liberty, Equality, Fraternity. Achievements: feudal privileges ended, human rights declared in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. Inspired democratic movements across the world. Nationalist movements in Europe 19th century. After the French Revolution and Napoleon's conquests, the idea of nationalism spread. Nationalism, the belief that people with common culture, language and history should form a single nation. Italy. Italy was divided into many small kingdoms. Giuseppe Mazzini inspired young Italians with his movement Young Italy. Count Cavour, Prime Minister of Sardinia, used diplomacy and alliances. Giuseppe Garibaldi, with his army of red shirts, united southern Italy. In 1861, Italy was unified under King Victor Emmanuel II. Germany. Germany was divided into many states under Austrian influence. Otto von Bismarck, Prime Minister of Prussia, used war and diplomacy to unite them. Through wars with Denmark, Austria and France, Germany was unified in 1871 under Kaiser William I. Greece and other countries. Greece fought against Ottoman rule and won independence 1830. Impact of these revolutions. End of absolute monarchies in many parts of Europe, spread of democracy and constitutional governments, rise of nation states like Italy and Germany. Inspired freedom struggles in colonies, India, Latin America, Africa. Introduced modern values, human rights, equality, liberty, nationalism. So friends, the revolutions of the 17th, 18th and 19th centuries shaped the modern world from constitutional monarchy Americas. Independence France demand for liberty and Europe's nationalist movements. All these struggles gave us the principles of democracy and nationalism we live with today. Thank you for watching this social body video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more easy explanations of your class 9th social studies lessons. See you in the next video.